The supermarkets crippling us, the government crippling us.
I would say over the last 3 years, this pub has lost something like 30% of its trade, certainly 10% per annum. It continues to decline.
The con who's 84 at the back, he won't be totally lost. Where will he go now at 84?
Closing time, one last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Closing time, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
In the news, the consumption of alcohol often has a negative undertone. But at local pubs where drinking is more of a social event, this way of life is under serious threat. Currently in the UK, around 25 pubs close every week. The Horse and Jockey is just one of these pubs that's being forced to shut. But for what reasons?
I have got no idea. I mean, the supermarkets crippling us, the government crippling us. They don't realise the knock-on effect, not to the customers that have in the bar now, to the more elderly customers that come in. This is their community, this is their life. This is where they come and meet Fred and Sally, and they'll have a game of cards or a game of bingo, and this is their life. The pub's closing basically because we're not doing enough turnover to make it profitable to keep the pub open. To me, it is devastating. I love every bit, and I do. My life afterwards, I don't know.
It seems that not only Marie is going to suffer from the loss of her pub, but the locals who go to socialise with their friends.
You know, the people who I know who come in here, where will they be? You know what I mean? Like Bill that's just walked in, I don't know, he'll be lost when this place shuts down. And probably Con who's 84 at the back, he won't be totally lost. Where will he go now at 84? Well, I'm fairly young, so I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens really. But no, I think people will start drinking at home, not going out, perhaps, particularly the elderly people. Who wants to jump in the tram to go for a drink and then have to get all the way back home drunk probably?
Although Marie feels cheap alcohol and increasing tax are the problem, many landlords blame their tie with the big pub chains. Punch Taverns claim they are the leading pub company in the UK, who work together with their landlords and aim to be the first choice for those looking to take on a pub. However, places like the Rose of England, who are already with the company, believe people should definitely think twice before leasing the pub.
It definitely has its drawbacks. There's certain restrictions, and so because you're tired, you have to buy a beer off them, which makes, well, profit difficult. And you've got to make your own money rather than just get a set wage, which with Punch's prices and with the amount of help Punch give you, it's not great. If you're a new person starting out, they'll give you as much help as they possibly can. But once they've given you so much help, they don't want to bother you anymore. As long as you buy your beers off them, you don't cheat them, and you pay as much rent as they're going to charge you, they don't want to know you as such anymore.
It's clear that pubs are very much under threat, and they don't seem to be getting any help from the government, the supermarkets and the big pub companies. So what can pubs do themselves to help keep their business afloat and their customers coming in? CAMRA, the Campaign for Real Ale, believe they know what pubs can do to help ensure their survival.
A pub has got to look at what can it do better than off sales, and you must then add value to your pub. The obvious product is going to be cask ale, because it's the one thing that the supermarkets can't sell. So you start with the knowledge that cask ale will be a product that you alone have got. And then you encourage people to come to your pub by having a locally brewed beer. Ideally, if you can actually brew it on your own premises, you create your own local community interest and their own market for that brand of beer. Once you've got that and you've got loyalty, then you've got the bedrock of a certain successful pub.
With the cask ale market increasing by 40% each year, pubs either producing their own beer or selling real ale could help to keep the customers coming in. The Nottingham brewery, based at the Plough Inn, has been working together with a pub for 13 years. What started out as a hobby soon became a commercial operation. Although it has worked well for them, do they believe it could be a good method for pubs to diversify their business?
Without a doubt, artisan beers or craft beers, microbrewed beers, whatever you like to call them, are the way forward for small independent pubs today. Whether it's to put a brewery into a pub or behind a pub is debatable to say. It can work, but somebody trying to brew beer and run a pub would find it extremely difficult because the two are very, very demanding pastimes, jobs. So it essentially needs somebody to run the pub and somebody to run the brewery. If that can be done in partnership, running parallel together, then it's the road to success.
Although starting up a microbrewery may not be quick and easy, it is clear that cask ale is becoming more popular each year, and therefore the pubs that offer local ale or their own brew have a better chance of keeping people coming through their doors. The Trent Navigation Inn has recently set up their own microbrewery and has just produced their first batch. So do they believe that this way of diversifying their business will help them into the future?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, yeah. As long as the people like his beer that we're producing, then there's a lot more profit in it because we've got the same expenditure as what you'd have anyway, but it's ours. We're producing it, it's ours. We're not having to purchase it from somewhere else. So that element comes out of it. I think that microbrews attached to pubs is a good thing as long as you get your beer right. Don't just expect that you can brew beer and people want to drink it. It's got to be good beer as well. It's got to be different from other beers as well in character, how it's polished, basically how clean it looks, the taste of it, and everybody's got different tastes. So you've got to be able to brew the beer that everybody wants to drink.
Pubs that are losing business and in threat of closure must look at new ways of diversifying their business so that they offer something people cannot get anywhere else.
Cask ale is a massive part of this industry now. It's in 40% growth year on year and people are wanting to drink real traditional ale again.
If you're going to brew your own cask beer, you've got to be a competent brewer. And that does require a different level of skills. There are a number of courses now available, and if you pass those, it isn't expensive to actually get your own kit, and you don't need a lot of space. In fact, if you look around the country, you'll find a number of pubs actually brew the beer in the pub so you can see it through the processes. It's an added attraction, encourages people to come down and take advantage of seeing the product they're about to drink being produced.
With many people nowadays choosing to drink real ale over lager, pubs that either produce their own or sell a local ale will have a fighting chance of survival in the years ahead.
Closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.